Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Uh, I am speechless, to say the least. Welcome to the post-game report. Buffalo Bills, Jaguars. Joining me, as always, is my co-host Jake. Jake, where do we start? Where do we start?
I don't know, Mike. I am just speechless. I'm a little embarrassed.
Oh,
I mean, credit to the Jaguars. They played really hard, but what happened? What the heck? What was that? We're not accustomed to this.
no,
I mean, we're accustomed to bad offense the last couple of weeks here, but I mean, we're still winning games. Like, what is this? This
yeah.
is new.
Six points, Jake. Let me just run through the numbers that the Jaguars have allowed and to the teams they've allowed it to. They gave up 37 to the Texans. Now, yes, that was
Yep.
game one of the year, getting everything together. They gave up 23 to the Broncos, 31 to the Cards, 24 to the Bengals, 37 to the Titans, 20 to the Dolphins, who they had beat,
Yep.
and 31 to the Seahawks and Buffalo. Six?
6.
I mean, okay. So we keep saying week after week, oh, this is the week for the breakout. This is the week for the breakout. There's a book out on us, and obviously we're not adjusting to it. I don't know. You're more of an X and O guy. Were you able to see what kind of coverage are they throwing at us?
Honestly, Mike, they were just dominant. They were totally dominant. They didn't do anything special. It wasn't anything new. It wasn't anything crazy. They just totally outplayed us. I mean, the other Josh Allen played incredible today. He was the better Josh Allen today. And I'm not putting the full blame on our Josh Allen at all because I'll tell you what, there's a lot more that goes around with that. I mean, the offensive line was absolutely
Oh,
atrocious. Deion Dawkins struggled so bad against the other Josh Allen. Our entire offensive line across the board, I don't know if I can say anyone played well on the O line today. It was an absolute mess. It was a catastrophe. I I am I am so upset, disappointed. Like
yeah. For
I don't
the
even know where to go.
Yeah, so the offensive line, I mean, this is scary because we made the Jaguars look like the steel curtain today. I
We
mean,
did, yeah,
how do you
yep,
how does that happen? This is a team that has an offensive line pretty much intact from last year. They weren't the
right,
greatest, but they got us to the AFC Championship. And yeah, we were missing Feliciano and Spencer Brown. Though he was a rookie, he's really only started 2 games, and then he's had
yeah,
injury. And so we had most of our offensive line intact. Deion Dawkins just, yeah. I mean, when I said Josh Allen versus Josh Allen in the pregame show, and I said it really is going to be Josh Allen versus Dawkins, my goodness, the Josh Allen from the Jaguars, what a game, man.
just whooped us.
Interception, sack. He had 8 tackles, couple for losses, just destroyed us. And it feels like a broken record. It feels like we're seeing this over and over again, like in Tennessee. Landry, you called it, right?
Yeah,
He had a big game against us. And people are pressuring. It's like they're getting free runs at Josh. I'm like, we're not making any adjustments to block, help protect. And I mean, the 4th and 1 call, another horrible call, and
yep,
Josh fumbles that ball. Um, Unbelievable. I mean, so
yeah,
and then let's talk to some of the folks out there in the channel because we're gonna need your input today too, guys. And
yeah.
Slinky, yeah, you asked us about the Manning curse, and I would have bet the
I'd
house
bet my house on it.
that was not going to happen. I'm
Yep.
glad I'm not a gambling man. Slinky, you called it
Whew.
the Manning curse. Seems to be hitting everybody, but they and then your dad's like, we need an offensive line. Get rid of Cody Ford. Yeah, he had a shot to redeem
He
himself.
played. Yeah, he had a
Every,
really tough
but
game.
across the line was just horrible, just horrible.
Yeah.
So, and I give not only the play, I put the players at fault, but Dable. I don't know. Where's the adjustments? Where's the adjustments? I
Not
didn't see
much.
any.
Yeah. I it's a shared blame across the board. I think I mean, we're not throwing the ball downfield at all. I mean, receivers won't really getting open though either. When you go back and look at it, there were a couple plays that Josh missed some open guys. Even on the last play of the game, I think he had Emmanuel Sanders. He was open on that play. I just, I'm just so, I'm beside myself. like I said, I'm almost speechless. You don't expect this to happen. Like, we were joking about it. We said, "Hey, we might need some therapy or
Yeah.
something," but I don't know. I
Uh,
mean, this is bad.
oh,
It's time to panic.
I'm looking for a therapist that can join the show right now. Maybe we can get an
I said I
actual
wasn't drinking
therapist.
either. Here we go. I said maybe celebratory. What? Guess what? We're back.
Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Let's go around the horn. First of all, we'll start with the defense. I mean, let's start with something good before we get into the bad. Maybe we should finish with something good. We held them to 9 points. Did they look dominant? Not really. I think the Jaguars played a pretty conservative game.
Right.
But we held them to 9 points. If you held any team to 9 points, you should win in
Good
the
enough.
NFL. You should win.
Yep.
If I was telling Jake before the game went off, I was like, if I was somebody who didn't watch the game today, I happened to look up at a scoreboard and see that the Bills lost 9-6, I'd be like, they must have played in some really bad weather or hurricane type conditions, strong winds. That wasn't the case.
Right.
That wasn't the case. So
Exactly. I don't know. It's crazy to me that just what transpired. I mean, you just what was it? 6-6 at half too?
Yeah, well, you did call the first half. And I was shocked that you called it, but you did. You said it was
Yeah.
going to be like a 10-3, low scoring
Slow
first
start.
half.
Yeah.
And then you said we would do what we did in the Dolphin game and make adjustments, but we can't keep doing that. We keep doing that, and this is what happens, right? We didn't make the adjustments, and
Right.
we kept them in it. And the longer that the Jaguars were in that game, the more their confidence grew. I mean, at some point, they're like, "We got this team. We can take this team." So it looked like Josh just again he wasn't getting much time at all. But yeah, he just was passes were getting deflected, and I guess I saw they mentioned some stat where he's what is he the number one guy who's have pass deflections this year, and I don't know Diggs not getting open, Sanders it just. Like you said, they just
Yeah.
played a great game. It feels like when we played the Chiefs, we shut down that great passing game, but not to the extent that the Jaguars did today. And again,
Yeah.
we made that defense look like the steel curtain. I don't know how that's possible at all.
We did.
So let's go around obviously in defense. You have anything? I think they did a good job. They did a job.
Defense
to
played
win the
well.
game. Yeah.
Right. I mean, we had 2 sacks on the day. You know, we were getting a decent amount of pressure, and there were a couple plays. There was a couple penalties and stuff that hurt a little bit, but Levi Wallace had a tough game. I guess I could say that. But even I mean, he had the fumble recovery, so he
Yeah.
kind of made up for it a little bit. And like you said, when you hold an offense to 9 points, there's no reason you should lose that game. I mean, if your offense can't score more than 9 points, you got huge issues, which
Yeah.
clearly we do right now.
We too.
And I mean, you can't ask for much more with the defensive effort. And a lot of the times they started with the ball, they had great field position. So there's that too. I mean, we went back to talking about the punters. Matt Hack, I mean, his net average was pretty bad today. I mean, that he didn't help the situation. Our defense played well. Our offense didn't capitalize. That was really the story of the game. The Jags defense just absolutely shut us down.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at our defense. We'll stick on the defense for now because maybe it'll give us some good vibes or just good feelings before we get to this offense. But so Trevor Lawrence was and let me just say this too for those who are watching. I had my son, and for whatever reason, he loves the Ravens, as you guys know who watch the show. And my wife decides to invite his friend over, and they're all excited about watching the Ravens game. Well, I couldn't find another way to stream either the Ravens or the Bills, so I try to be a good dad. Trust me, it was not easy, and I let them watch their game. So I'm having to listen to on the Game Pass, like radios, like old fashioned, like when I was a kid listening to Van Miller on the radio, and I'm having to listen to it that way. But I'm having to listen to the broadcasters, the announcers out of Jacksonville. And that was just torture. Just torture. So for 3 quarters, and then finally I just took the TV. The kids got a little bored with their game, and I was able to take the TV for the 4th quarter, thinking, all right, I'm going to see a comeback. We're going to win this. We're going to win this we're gonna go down and score that winning touchdown, and it just didn't happen. So I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I don't even know what we're talking about. But anyway, I was saying Trevor Lawrence throws for 15 for 26, only throws for around 118 yards. CJ Beathard came in and actually when Trevor got injured for, I think he was only out for a couple plays, but Beathard was 2 for 2 for 33 yards. He made a big play on that to keep a drive alive.
Almost had that touchdown to Jamal Agnew too.
So once again, I mean, they thoroughly dominated this. They should have had probably 10 more points than they did.
Right. Yep.
They had 3 shots at a field goal and missed 3 times. I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna finally take this ball down and score, but it just didn't happen. So from a passing standpoint, we held this team to 139 yards passing. No touchdown passes, although, like you said, they had to drop one. Rushing the ball, 27 for 79 yards for an average of 2.9 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't get the sacks, but I think they played, like I said, they played conservative, and they didn't need to do anything more. That defense just was unreal today. So, any thoughts on the defense? I mean, you said Levi Wallace had a bad game, but I don't think so. I mean,
no. There was just a couple of plays, like a couple of key plays that sort of stuck out to me. And if there's anything negative I could really say, it's the fact that we could have maybe registered a few more sacks. You know who actually played pretty well was Jerry Hughes.
Oh my God. You're going to go back to Jerry.
I know. And, I always have to find reasons on why he's with this team. AJ Epinesa got in there for half a sack. Didn't hear much from Greg Rousseau today.
No, not at all.
Starr had a couple plays. I think overall as a unit, the defense played great. Trey, I thought, played pretty well. I mean, he went down with an injury. I hope it's nothing serious. It looked like, at the time, it looked like almost a shoulder injury, but maybe it was like he got the wind knocked out of him because of the way he fell on the ball. He almost had an interception there at the end. Micah Hyde played well. Saran Neal played very well, I thought. Taron Johnson left with a concussion, so that hurts.
Yeah. And so did, Zach Moss went out with an injury.
Zach Moss left the game too. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. But, So I thought, let's see. Your dad's saying McDermott had a really bad coaching game. I should have thrown the red flag and should have taken the penalty on their 50-yard plus. Yeah, totally agree. Even the announcers in Jacksonville, because here's what they were saying. They're a 1-6 team. Inside the 50-yard line, they were going to go for it on 4th down, no matter what. I was actually surprised they kicked that field goal. But if it was 4th and 5, 4th and 3, they're like, go for it. This is a top team. We can't be stopped. But yeah, that play, I agree. I totally agree with your dad. I mean, take him out of field goal range, put him in a long and 3rd, and maybe something happens there on that play, right? Maybe we get a sack, maybe we get a pick. But no, we let him stay in field goal range, and the guy drills it. So, I mean, what did you think about that?
I think it's just, I think coaching had a huge piece in today's game. It was pretty bad coaching. Whether, Brian Dable, Sean McDermott, both of them, I think there were so many other opportunities we could have taken, whether it would be an adjustment, whether it be challenging a play. The one, Emmanuel Sanders catch where Josh kind of improvised. I don't know if you saw, you heard it on the radio, but Josh kind of rolled out and he threw it to Emmanuel and they said it was incomplete. There was that play. And there was just so many things that happened today. And it was just, I'm exhausted just thinking about all the different missed opportunities we had. I don't know. I don't know, Mike. If this isn't the biggest kick in the butt, then I don't know what is. We got to figure it out because I'll tell you what, the Jets, they actually worry me. Yeah. They scored 30 points against this Colts team who's not bad. And, they seem to have an offense. Josh Johnson, whoever they play at quarterback, Mike White, Josh Johnson, doesn't matter who. They seem to be putting up some numbers now. They're kind of finding a bit of a rhythm. I mean, they're still a losing team, but man, we better figure it out because it's going to be a long road ahead. We got New England twice still. We got Tampa. We have Carolina. I mean, Carolina got smoked by New England today, but still, I mean, we have a couple teams on the schedule that, they're not too. Atlanta, they got a nice win against New Orleans today.
I know. I mean,
New Orleans, we got them on Thanksgiving. I mean, it's
hard. I mean, I get on the show here and I'm like, it's what week? It was week 8 for
Week
us.
9.
Week 9
Week
for
9,
us.
yeah,
Well, 8 games for
yep.
us. Week 9, and I'm gonna steal a line that Rick used on his fantasy football show. I obviously don't know anything about football this year.
Seriously, I mean, what's going on? The AFC in general is super inconsistent, though. I guess that's the one good thing we have. I mean, the Bengals lost today. They played the Browns, who the Browns, we don't know what type of team they are. The Raiders lost to the Giants.
Raiders
Only team
lose.
that's really, I mean, the Ravens got a big win, and I'm sure Jonah is absolutely stoked about that. But yeah, I don't know. It's such a weird year. I mean, who would have thunk the Bills would be 5-3 right now?
Oh, not me for sure. And then so Zebel out there saying, did Levi have a taunting call? Because I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, that's my buddy. So Ian, so it's funny, Mike. I'm in my basement right now. Typically for post game shows, right after on a typical Sunday 1:00 game, I'm upstairs in the office because the guys are still here. Everyone left. They were so distraught by that loss. They said, we're getting out of here. So, I mean, usually they're staying for the afternoon games and stuff, but they're just like, we can't. Actually, my buddy Zebel, I believe, is at the bar right now. He said, I'm going to drink. I don't blame him, man. I mean, shoot, I don't know what happened today. Like, it is insanely discouraging, and you're just kind of like lost right now. I mean, I sort of just sat on the couch after that game, just head down, like in disbelief at what I just watched. I mean, it just hurts. It stings.
Yeah, your Zebel saying, I'm not sure. I saw one design throw over 15 yards today, and that's.
I agree.
I was listening to it. But I was watching the visuals that the NFL.com site gives you, and everything was just dink and dunk, and they did come out throwing the ball. I mean, they didn't run the ball very often in the first half, but it was just a lot of, like I said, a lot of screens to Moss and Singletary, and it just nothing downfield, unless Josh Allen rolled out and made some crazy throw like he did to Sanders, the one you mentioned there. But and I think Sanders had a couple, but nothing big that I can think of downfield. So
Cole Beasley had 8 for 33 today.
Yes, I mean, that's ridiculous.
That was insane. What a weird stat. He averaged 4 yards a catch. That's nuts.
So Tim's saying try Tommy Doyle on this line. I mean, what do you think of I mean, we don't know much about Tommy, but hey, why not give him a shot? We talked
about that a little bit during the game. So Tommy Doyle, I believe, went to Miami, Ohio, Mac guy, so a little special place in my heart for that guy. But I can't get much worse, honestly. I mean, our offensive line has been the last 3 weeks, I don't know what happened. Up until the Titans game, I thought we were actually playing extremely well. Mitch Morse, I was happy with the interior. Like, all those guys they seemed to be in a rhythm. They were playing well. Like, we were actually able to pick up 4 yards a carry when we were running the football. Since that Titans game, it's just been a mess, an absolute mess. So I don't know what we need to do, but whether it's we got to bring an extra blocker in, an extra tight end in, I don't know. I'm at a loss.
Well, that's where you go back to that trade deadline, and you're like, man, now you're thinking, man, we really should have made a move for that.
Should have done something. Andrew Norwell. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and then let's see. Your dad's saying New England won. Yep, we're in trouble. They're one of the best coach teams out there. We know Belichick's system, and we know he's and their defense is playing well, and
the
offense now is starting to get used to everything and all the players that they have gelling. They always play us tough, and there's no easy game in the AFC right now, other than the Dolphins. I'm scared of the Jets, like you said, and I'm scared of the Pats. There's no overlooking anyone from this point on. If this isn't the biggest wake up call, and if anyone, I was asking Jake this, can any of you remember a game where it was this big of an upset in Bills history? Where we were such a big favorite. What were we? 14-point favorites? Something like that.
14 and a half, just like combined.
Just like we were last week. I can't think of a bigger upset against the Bills team than this one. So if anyone else can remember, and I'm going back years and years and years, even to the great teams, the Super Bowl teams, I just can't think of a time where we were upset being such big favorites like this. So I'll see if somebody out there might remember. Let's see. Slinky says, if the Pats win the AFC East, I'm selling my Allen jersey.
Oh, man.
Don't do that, Slinky.
You know what? So as much as you want to throw the blame on Josh Allen today, yeah, he didn't play well at all. I mean, he had 3 turnovers. He had no help. I mean, really, it starts up front, and it's so cliche to say that. Just horrendous. Our offensive line, I mean, if we were doing a grading system right now, Mike, they would get an F.
Yeah,
Josh Allen might get a D.
yeah.
But man, I mean, it's bad. It's gotten to the point where I am extremely concerned. We should have made a move at the trade deadline. It's horrendous. It's such I don't know what happened. I don't think the guys are bad up front. They're just maybe I mean Cody Ford has not played well. I don't think he's played well all season. There was a reason why he got benched, why he got subbed out, why they kicked Darrell Williams in, put Spencer Brown at right. I mean, there's all reasoning for that. Um, it's just it I'm speechless again. Like I said, I'm just speechless, and I'm trying so hard to collect my thoughts about different things, but it's quite simple. I mean, you protect Josh Allen, you give him some time to throw the ball. Our receivers will be able to get open eventually. I mean, we have an elite receiving core. There's no reason why none of these guys are able to get. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Like Stephon Diggs had 6 for 85, but a lot of that was garbage time. A lot of that was just us, forcing throws. I mean, I don't know.
So because I didn't get to see a lot of the game, Jake, why? And I did watch it in the fourth. Why?
Yeah.
So I do put this a lot on the coaches. Why weren't we putting better blocking schemes in there? I don't know. It didn't look like we had. I've seen a few games early in the year where we had a running back and a tight end drop
Right.
back in the backfield to help protect. I think that was the Tennessee game, maybe, or
Yeah,
maybe another
yeah.
game. At least when I was watching it, I didn't see much of that. Was any of that happening? And I would think you would need to come up and be like, all right, these guys are beating us off the line. We need to get Josh a little bit of more time and do something about it. But I don't know, maybe because I didn't see it, I don't know. Am I missing something? Were they doing that and we were still getting
No,
beat?
they weren't.
They
I
weren't.
mean, it was very, yeah, it was conservative. The approach was very conservative. Again, we almost tried to force the run too much, and I think we had 9 carries for like 19 yards or something like that, something ridiculous like that. Josh Allen had 5 for 50 alone.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can't let this guy just do everything back there. I mean, we need some help. We need an additional blocker. We need to revamp our offensive line. We need a little attitude up front. I think that's sort of what you're missing with John Feliciano and Spencer Brown being out. That definitely hurts us a little bit because we got bullied. We got absolutely bullied up front.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep going back to that because that was really I think that was the biggest issue today. But
Yeah, I know
yeah,
we keep saying we're missing Spencer Brown, and I agree with you. I like the kid. I like the attitude he brings. But again, I say that he's really only started
he's a rookie.
two games
I
now
know.
for us, and if Feliciano, I agree with you. Definitely
Yeah.
missed them, but we're supposed to have the depth this year on both sides of the ball, and we're just kind of mixing things up and trying to figure out what's gonna work best, and nothing seems to be
Right.
working. And I don't
And
I don't know.
yeah. And then a lot of things, I've heard this mentioned. Actually, my cousin mentioned this too. He said Creed Humphrey was available when we took Boogie Basham, and we didn't take Creed Humphrey, and he's one of the few rookies, right? I think he's the only rookie that is on the midseason All Pro team right now. I mean, he's played phenomenal in Kansas City. That would have been such a good fit for our offensive line, and we didn't take him. And
Yeah,
you look back at things like that didn't
yeah,
happen, and it kind of kills you. You think about it, like how do we miss that? And I don't think Boogie's bad. I don't know if he's just not picking up the defense.
yeah,
I don't know what the deal is. If it's like we think it's similar to what AJ Epinesa had last season, where maybe they're just holding them out and making it a red shirt year for him or something. But oh, it's a killer. It's such a killer.
yeah. Boogie was inactive again today, and he played two
Healthy
games
scratch.
a couple weeks ago. I thought that was it. I thought he was looking pretty good. I think he had a sack and maybe two, but I know he had a sack in his 2 games. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what's going on there. But I thought in the second round we should have went after running back. So obviously we can't pass block, we can't run
Yeah.
block, and we don't have a running back that can, what do you want to call it? Make that line look better. So if we don't
Right.
have any,
We can't run an outside zone.
yeah,
I don't think either of our backs are quick enough to get
yeah,
outside. And when we run inside, we just don't have enough. We don't have enough run blocking in the middle either. It's just we're not getting anywhere. I mean, it's basically a loss of a down every time we run the football up the middle. So it just
Yeah.
I mean, I understand why you abandoned it. I understand why we only had 9 carries. We still forced it in dumb situations, but and the short passes today too to our running backs, like way too many of those. I mean, a lot of check downs. And I think part of that was maybe our receivers not getting open, maybe Josh not having enough time to throw, him having to make that decision to check it down. It's just across the board, Mike. I am so distraught by this right now.
Let me see here. Let me go back to the channel here. We got a lot of folks chiming in here. Let's see. What do we got? Craziest part, Z-Bell, when they did throw to Steph, they were getting first downs and driving, then immediately went back to screens and flat routes. Yep, agree. We should give that guy from UB a chance on the line. Who's that? Who's that he's talking about, Jake?
That's so let's see. Yeah, I mean, he's talking about the screens and flat routes. I mean, we were throwing a lot. I mean, it was all to the running backs for the most part. I mean, we were doing a lot of short passes to them. I mean, a lot of screen passes to our receiver. Stephon Diggs had a couple of screens. Cole Beasley, obviously, early in the game, he went out too. I'm worried about him. Hopefully his ribs are all right. Nothing downfield. We were afraid to throw the ball down the field. It just that's frustrating too, because you want to see the improvement with Josh too, being able to throw the ball down the field. And it's like he's not even getting an opportunity to do it. I don't know if that's by design or if it's just because, like I said, a lot of our receivers just were struggling to get open today. I think it's a combination of both personally. But
it feels to me when you have a guy like Josh Allen and you have receivers that we do, and we have Sanders as good speed, we have Diggs, you at least try it a couple times. Try to go deep.
Yeah.
Right? And
no matter what.
You can get an interference call. They can make the play. Usually the receiver has the advantage, and they didn't even do that. Not once.
Yeah.
Today. So,
and there was a specific moment with going into the half, actually, 1 minute and 22 seconds left. And we didn't have any timeouts, but 1 minute and 22 seconds is a lot of time.
Yeah.
You got to take advantage of that. Throw the ball down the field. We weren't doing that at all. And then we let the clock tick down, and we ended up punting it. The Jags got it, just kneeled it out. I mean, that was that's a moment right there where you're like, this is bad coaching. This is bad coach. I mean, I don't think that's on Josh Allen there. That was a bad coaching moment.
I think, like I said, I put Dable on the slide for the opening piece for a reason. I definitely think he's not making adjustments. And I said this in the beginning. I'll say it again. There's a book out there on us now. They've seen a ton of film, and we keep thinking that, oh, this is the breakout game. No, the defenses, no matter who they are, whether they're a great defense or a defense like Jacksonville, they're running the same scheme, and it's working, and we don't have an answer for it. Just don't have an answer, and I don't know what the answer is. I mean, this is a wake-up call for sure. If they don't start taking every game serious, more of these are going to happen. And they've got 4 games in their division that everyone was saying, oh, these should be 2 easy wins, and that's not the case anymore. And we had what appeared to be one of the lighter schedules. We really do working in our favor, but all of a sudden now we've lost that by losing a game like this.
1,000%. Yeah. I mean, every game matters now. I mean, not that it didn't before, but it's, you overlook these games. Like you think, oh, Jacksonville, the Jets. I mean, we got a nice, easy few games. The Dolphins, Jags, Jets. I mean, how much simpler can it get? That should be 3 easy wins right there. The Dolphins we struggled against. First half, 3-3. We ended up pulling it out, obviously, with the second half.
Yeah.
This second half, I mean, we got shut out.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Crazy. Let's go back to, so Z-Bill had a couple more. He says, do you remember seeing a quarterback roll out ever?
Nope.
Not unless Josh was running for his life.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the only time it happened.
Mean, none of that. I think we need to do more design rollouts, maybe a play action, because they think we're going to run the football anyway. Might as well do a play action, roll them out and have them on the run, make a nice throw. Maybe it's a sideline throw, something like that. I mean, he's good at that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Get him comfortable.
Let's see. Your dad says time to draft a quality fullback. Absolutely, a quality fullback, or just a more elusive runner. Our runners are not elusive at all, so they can't shield a bad offensive line. They can't help it at all. And again, there's Barry Sanders just doesn't exist these days. But remember him, he didn't have the greatest offensive lines, but he'd make them look good.
Oh yeah.
He would be able to make
He also
plays.
had the most negative rushes,
Exactly.
most negative running plays in NFL
He'd
history
go
too.
for a
But yeah,
two, and then boom, 75-yarder
yep,
gone. And let's see here. It's pretty apparent that we've let the offensive line try to figure out for way too long. The facts are they aren't very good, and Josh made them look better because he can improvise. Absolutely.
right.
And that's what I'm kind of saying. I wish we had a running back that could maybe do a little bit of that. Josh is
Yeah.
that guy. He can he's our best running back that we have, and
Yep.
that's sad to say.
He might be leading the team in rushing yards now on the season too.
Yeah, I have to think it. Yeah, extremely close. Let's
Yeah.
see. Z-Bell, historically, all great offensive schemes only last a couple of years tops. People forget defensive coordinators make their living shutting down great offenses. And you're right. That's what I'm saying. There's a book out there. There's film. They're studying. And once a team sees somebody be successful, they're like, all right, what did they do? We're going to do the same thing. And I feel
Right.
like that's why the Dolphins were successful last week. That's why the Jaguars were successful this week. And it's only going to continue. So we got to come up with some different
And we got
schemes
yeah,
ourselves.
exactly.
We got to make
Yep.
adjustments.
And Robert Saleh is next on our schedule here with the Jets, and he's a defensive-minded coach. I know the Jets don't look great defensively, but we saw what the Jags did to us. They weren't great defensively either. So,
Yeah.
man, now we're actually playing a defensive-minded coach next week, so we better figure it out.
Yeah, I mean the Jets, like we said pregame, depending on what week, I don't know what team we're gonna get, but they have the potential to beat us, obviously.
Right.
So, I mean, where do you put? I mean, right. So the conversations, I think I was seeing all these posts that we're still the favorite Super Bowl to win the Super Bowl in Vegas. We're gonna plunge quite a bit after this
Yeah.
week. We're gonna plunge quite a bit.
I think Baltimore goes up, we
Yeah.
go way down.
Yeah, we got way down. But I mean, like you said, the NFL is so crazy. I saw Dallas was getting shut out, and I think Dallas lost that game,
They
right?
lost.
To who was it they played?
Denver.
Denver.
And now Denver's 5-4.
I just can't figure it out. So
Yeah. The AFC is so inconsistent. I mean, the Raiders, like I said, the Raiders lost to the Giants today.
Yeah.
I mean, the Browns and Bengals going back. The Browns won that game against the Bengals. The Bengals are 5-4 now. They were 5-2 2 weeks ago. Like,
Yep.
and they lost to the Jets.
Yeah.
I don't know. The AFC is weird.
And guess what team's out there looming that now that all these other teams are losing? The Chiefs.
Yeah.
The Chiefs, right? Well, a couple of weeks ago,
At 4-4.
we were looking at them in the rear view mirror quite a ways. They were pretty far back. And that team's going to get it together. You just know it. And again, they're going to probably be competing.
Right.
I never thought they weren't going to compete. I knew they were. I felt they were still going to be a playoff team. But with all that's happening and all the parity that seems to be there, like you said, and I like Z-Bell's comment here, let's take things one game at a time. No more playoff talk. Yeah. No more playoff talk. And no more talk about being elite.
Yeah, I'm done predicting the 34-13s,
No
the
more.
44-10s. I'm done with that, Mike.
Yeah.
I almost feel like I play a part in this curse right now, and I'm feeling pretty bad about it. I'll be honest. I hope your dad's not too upset. Have you heard from him at all?
No, I didn't even look at the phone. I have so many people. I know this phone has been blowing up, and like, what the heck? You're losing to the. I can't even look at it right now. It's going to take me a little while to look at the phone. But yeah, I tried to play conservative this morning. I really did. But
yeah, you did 24-14. I mean, that sounded pretty reasonable.
It did sound reasonable.
Points, no problem.
And I did say if we lose this game, we need some therapy, and maybe we're not the team we thought, and we're not. We're not the team we thought. At least not right now.
Right.
At least not right now. Yes, we're good. We have all the pieces from last year. I don't know what's. I mean, we didn't change that much from last year. So what's different? Other than,
if anything, we acquired more players and made our team better.
We added some pieces. Other than what your friend said here is that, all right, yeah, we the teams know what we're gonna throw at them right now. We don't have a running game that they have to worry about, so we can't switch it up and say, all right, let's start running the ball more.
Right.
We can't make that change. So the offensive play calling has to get a little crafty and come up with some things. And I always think just pass protect better. I mean, you got Steph Diggs. You got Sanders, got Beasley. You can put Gabe in there, and even Isaiah, and give them a little more time, and they can get down the field. They weren't able to get down the field,
Right.
so yeah, we'll see what they come up with going forward. And let's see, Tim, what you want to talk about? What Tim's saying there?
Yeah, so he's saying Bean and McDermott talked about speed after losing to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. The two fastest guys that the Bills have barely get any playing time in Breda and McKenzie. Yeah, Matt Breda's been a healthy scratch for the last how many weeks?
Yeah,
I mean, the guy hasn't played since
week one. I
Miami.
want to say week one.
Week one? Yeah. I
He-
mean,
yeah,
I would like to see some involvement from him. If we're going to check it down to backs, you might as well check it down to a guy who can, I mean, he's pretty good at catching the ball out of the backfield. He's fast. He can make a guy miss. I mean, different type of back. If you want to run outside zone, run it with him. That guy can get to the edge. He's fast enough to do it. Makes no sense to me. I mean, 100% I agree with that. Yeah. Why don't you get him some time? I mean, at this point, shoot, my dad talks about Christian Wade every week. Might have to. I don't know. I mean, there's got to be a better way here. The backs that we have right now, we don't have the right type of guys on the offensive line. We're not playing well enough up front for our type of running backs to be successful in this offense. This is not going to happen. So I think he definitely got to activate Matt Breida next week. Give him a shot against the Jets. I know, we talk about never overlooking a team, but if there's a team to do it against, maybe it is the Jets. Maybe you run some outside zone runs. Maybe you have them run some stretch plays. Maybe you have them, run a wheel route out of the backfield. Do something fun. Do something different. Maybe we gotta do that. Maybe we gotta run some trick plays on offense. Maybe we gotta do something a little crazy, out of the ordinary, because right now it's just not getting it done.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Breda dependent on the severity of the injury to Moss. We might see him just by default because of that.
Right.
But I agree with you. It's time to change or take some, change something up in the backfield there and give Breda a chance. He's got the speed, right? He's a speedster. We brought him on to give us that electrifying play once in a while, and maybe that's what we need. He can catch the ball, so we're not losing anything from the passing plays at all with him. And
he was an 800 back a few years ago with the Niners. He can get it done.
Yeah, exactly. And then, do you see? I mean, your dad. Who's the player your dad keeps talking about on the
so he's talking about Evan Kasarczyk. So he's actually a Buffalo native. He went to West Seneca East High School, played at UB pretty well. I mean, he did a really nice job there. I think he was a first-team All-MAC player. And, he was with the Vikings in the offseason a little bit. He was with the Vikings in the preseason. Then I think he was on their practice squad and ended up getting cut. And then the Bills picked him up, signed him to their practice squad. So he's a raw player. I mean, MAC guy. So you always talk about MAC players. I think the MAC has some of the most hidden talent in the world. And that's not just me being biased. I think a lot of these guys get overlooked. I don't know if that's the answer or not, a tackle. But the Bills obviously see something in them. And at this point up front with what we have, I think it's anyone's job at this point. I mean, even Deion Dawkins, I mean, the guy, he hasn't looked great over the last few weeks. He's been really struggling against he's played against some pretty good players. I mean, Josh Allen made him look he made him look terrible today. Harold Landry made him look bad. He hasn't played great. And both tackle positions right now, I mean, it's kind of up in the air, especially with Spencer Brown being injured. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how we move forward with that.
But do you think, other than Breda, do we even have anyone on either the? Your dad's been talking about another running back, and I'm trying to think of his name, who that was. I think he mentioned it earlier. I don't know if they're all kind of similar backs, right? But maybe I recall there was a bigger back that we had played a little bit last year.
Antonio Williams.
Yes.
Antonio Williams. And actually he played great at the end of the season.
Yeah. And I was,
yeah, that's another option as well. I think he's on our practice squad still. I want to say he is. I'm not certain on that. I'm pretty sure we kept him. But yeah, he played fantastic at the end of the year last year. So that might be an option too. Maybe we go there if we want to run the football a little bit more efficiently. Maybe that's what we have to do to spice it up. I think right now with the type of plays we've been trying to call, maybe it's the right move to activate Matt Breida. But Antonio Williams is another option too, for sure. I think so, at least.
Yeah, he's
correct me if I'm wrong.
Still on the Bills.
That's what I thought. I'm pretty sure he's still on the practice squad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's worth a shot. And he's a bigger guy, right? He's bigger. He looked powerful.
Shorter, stocky guy. Yep.
Yeah. So let's give him a shot there, and Breida as well. And I agree with you on McKenzie. I thought again, because I couldn't watch it, I saw some plays go early to McKenzie. I felt like and you could tell me, were they working?
So I think he was more involved because Cole Beasley went out with an injury.
Okay.
And I hope his ribs are okay. I don't know what the actual what happened there. I think I didn't really see him in the game at all. So I think Isaiah came in to replace him more so. So that's why he was a little bit more involved. But even so, yeah, I mean, I would like to see him more involved on reverses. I mean, we used to run every game last year. We'd run like 2 reverses to him or something,
Mm-hmm.
and there's none of that even this year. I mean, there's a couple plays where sometimes we have him in the backfield and shotgun, and we run an outside stretch play or something like that, or an outside zone play. But yeah, there hasn't even been that really. It just
Yeah, I mean he's got great speed, and I know they're worried because he is a kick returner, and he actually had a couple nice returns today as well.
And another one called back. I mean, another big return called back, and this is a point I wanted to talk about too, Mike. Like, you almost anticipate a flag happening every single return play now, especially in this day and age with the NFL. We saw a return by the Vikings. They took one to the house against the Ravens today. But outside of that, you don't see the kickoff return, punt return touchdowns like you used to. You don't have the Dante Halls. You don't have the Josh Cribbs, Devin Hesters, or anything like that anymore. Mark Mariani, shout out to that guy. Love him, miss him. Great player for the Titans. Actually have his jersey on the Bears, one of the more random jerseys I have, Mike. But yeah, you just don't see that as much anymore. The Jags have a pretty special returnman and Jamal Agnew, and he had a couple nice returns too. But yeah, I mean, Isaiah McKenzie, he's one of the few guys in the league that makes a difference on those returns. So I guess that's a positive to take away. But
I mean, if
you just hate seeing the flags.
Yeah, if they're worried about they're not putting McKenzie on enough offensive snaps, then because they're worried about losing that, they have Marquise Stevenson. He's been on IR. I'm sure he's ready to come back. They just probably haven't had a spot for him. But you have him there. So if an injury does occur, you do have somebody there that could potentially fill his role. So I do. Right. I like that idea. He's super fast. McKenzie's got wheels. So he's in the slot. Take a quick little pass and go to the house with it. We haven't seen any of that stuff this year. Not one.
I know it.
I'm trying to think, what was our longest play from scrimmage for a touchdown this year? 30 yards maybe? No, we had the 45-yard run.
41-yarder to Stephon Diggs. I know that happened. And then Devin Singletary had
the run, the 45-yarder, I think it was.
Right.
But we expect a little bit more. And when they're not even we're not even throwing the ball 20 yards down the field for this game. Everyone said that already. This didn't seem to be anything.
Right.
And we said, take a few shots, man. Loosen that defense up. I mean, if I have Diggs, I'm going to at least call 1 or 2 times a game, or even Sanders. I'm going to call a couple deep routes. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And I trust my guy. He's good enough to make a play, whether he's open or not. Throw it. So, I mean, nothing else was working. So why not?
Man.
Let's see. They should call Williams and Christian Wade up. Is what
my dad is such an advocate for Christian Wade. I love it.
Now Christian Wade,
I don't know if there's a bigger Christian Wade fan in the world.
Is he the rugby player that they've been talking about? Okay, and
so he's our international guy. And I will say, I give him a lot of credit because every time he's touched the ball, he's been electric. In the preseason 2 years ago or so, I think he had 2 touchdowns on like 2 carries. So the guy is, I mean, he's proven that he can play. He's got there's a learning curve. Obviously, he's a professional rugby player, and I think it translates well as a running back over to the NFL, but I don't know. At this point, I'm open to anything at this point, honestly.
Is he on the practice squad? Could he be called up?
So he's actually on a special international squad because it's part of the international players program.
Right.
And I thought there was a restriction on that where you can only be on that list for so many years. And I thought maybe this was like the last year that he was eligible for that. But I'm not certain on it. Yeah.
So I guess I'm wondering if they picked up the phone and called him, could he be activated for next week's game?
I think it pretty much is similar to your it's similar to like a practice squatter where you can activate him onto the roster. But yeah, so I don't know. I think we give Matt Breida a shot first, but if we really have to, maybe we go there.
Matt Breida and was it Williams? We just talked about
Antonio Williams. Yeah, I mean those guys have the experience already, but yeah.
I say bring them up and let's go. So let's see. Antonio jumps in there. Unbelievable. Yeah, Antonio. Feeling you, man.
Yeah, he doesn't have too much to say either.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Jake and I are like not expecting this at all. We
Mentally just
we
drained
kind of
at this
said it at
moment.
the pregame. If something happens, we got to really rethink what kind of team we have. I still believe we have a good team, but now they've got to take every game seriously. And I like somebody who made the comment earlier: no looking past any game at all.
Right.
And that you would think. I mean, what the only excuse you can come up with for this type of well, there's two. Either we're not a very good team, which I don't believe that's the case, or they really overlooked this team. They really overlooked them. And that's the only two things I can think of. Is there anything else you can think of? Other than the Jaguars saying this is our Super Bowl and
Yeah.
playing the best
Credit,
game they could?
like I said, I don't want to take credit away from the
No.
Jaguars. Like, I know we're kind of looking down on them and everything, but they played hard. I mean, they played like a team that had nothing to lose. And man, I'm not the biggest Urban Meyer fan at all, but he outcoached Sean McDermott today.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
gosh,
not
I
looking down
mean,
on them, Jake. I'm looking at stats, data.
yeah, oh yeah,
In the pregame show, we mentioned they were dead near last on defense.
right.
Yards per game.
28th.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I'm going off of. Now somehow they turned it around in 1 week.
Yeah.
Against our Bills, unfortunately. So I agree with
Well,
you.
we're going to remember the other Josh Allen a little bit better. I hope
Yeah.
if anyone had any doubts about how good this kid was, they know how good he is. I mean, this guy is a 10-sack player, and not a lot of people are talking about how good he is. He's been tremendous since he's come in the league. So fantastic job. He might be the AFC Defensive Player of the Week. I think he had 8
Oh,
tackles, a tackle
yeah,
for a
8
loss, a
tackles.
sack, pick. I mean, he had a great day.
Yeah, there's no way he's not. There's no way he's not. No way. Keeping the Bills to
Yeah.
6 points, sack, interception, 8 tackles. Yeah,
Right.
no way. I don't know.
I mean, he was all over the place. And Rudy Ford, the guy who actually came, I was
Yeah.
talking about Trey Herndon a little bit. Trey Herndon was a healthy scratch. They ended up playing Rudy Ford in his position at the nickel corner slot, and he played awesome. He had that interception today, and he was all over the place.
Yeah.
He actually got a cramp on his celebration.
Yeah, I
at the
saw
end of the
that.
game there.
Yeah, he was
But
a big wild card. I mean, they were putting him
yeah,
all over the place, and he was making plays. So, you know much about him? Has he been around?
not a whole lot, honestly. I know he was originally a safety, and they ended up playing him at nickel. So he's almost like a Saran Neal type guy, because Saran Neal's kind of like that safety build. He was a safety, kind of converted over to corner. So they're sort of similar with their play styles. I like to look at both of them kind of the same sort of bigger body player playing in that nickel position. And I mentioned too, Saran Neal actually I thought played pretty well today in place of Taron Johnson.
Yeah, so this is my dad jumping in there. I did see him
Oh yeah,
last night in a charity. He didn't text me. I was expecting a text, and maybe he did. I just haven't looked like it said, but he did say last night. He says he's still not convinced on the Bills, and this gives him all more reason to think that. And again, I look at the positive defense. Defense did their job, right? Defense did a great job holding the team to 9 points.
certainly.
The negatives, it's been an ongoing problem with our offensive line. But again, Jake, I keep saying this is the same team, pretty much the same team, if not with some extra added players that I think we elevated our team. And I guess you could be saying the same thing about the Chiefs. What's going on? The Chiefs have at least an excuse. They revamped their whole offensive line, and
Right.
they're probably not gelling like they thought they would. They're not gelling as quickly as they thought they would, but they'll get there. We don't have an excuse. This team is the same.
No.
It's not like, hey, we got all these young guys trying to learn the system and gel. No, these guys have been playing with each other for quite some time. So
Right.
other than Spencer Brown, who now we're talking about, like, oh my God, we need Spencer Brown. That's sad.
I know, we need him
That's
back.
sad. That's sad to me to think that, because that wasn't the
Yeah.
case. I didn't even think he'd be a starter this year.
Right.
I did know he'd get play time. I surely thought he'd get play time,
Mhm.
filling in for some injuries. But when he became a starter, that just scary.
And Darrell Williams, he played pretty well last year, right tackle. And this year it just hasn't been the same. I don't know if he lost a step or what's going on. I actually thought he was doing okay at right guard, but even so, I mean, he's kind of struggled this year a little bit. Um, So we miss him tremendously at that right tackle position. We really do. We need him back as soon as possible. I hope his back is okay.
Yeah,
That's a tough injury to deal with,
yeah,
especially being such a tall guy too. I mean, when you have to bend the way he does, that's tough.
yeah. It's concerning too, being such a young guy and having whatever that back
Back
issue is.
issues.
That's
Yeah.
scary because back issues can come and go. I mean, you just have a bad night's sleep and that back's acting up. So don't know what the real situation is there. I wish they would give us a little more information on that.
Yeah.
So let's see. Do we got anything else out there? C-Bell, number one issue, O-line. We could always ask more of the skilled position players, but if the O-line doesn't wake up, we're doomed. And 100%, 100%. Man, it seems like all these linebackers are having great years, and we seem to be playing against some of these great linebackers. And we talk about these linebackers, and they come through. We talked about Landry in Tennessee. TJ Watt, right?
TJ Watt.
Right, just destroyed us. And
Right.
we had Landry, and now we had Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. Yeah.
And you should have heard.
We seem to struggle against a 3-4 front.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed too. We seem to struggle against these blitzing linebackers. They send 5 against us. It's tough. Like, we have a very hard time against that. Credit to Taven Bryan too. I think he had a pretty good game today for the Jags as well. He's an interior guy. Me and my buddy Tim were talking about him a little bit. We actually got him confused. I forgot he was a first-round pick out of Florida. I mean, I thought he had a pretty nice game too. Roy Robertson Harris, another guy, defensive end, 3-4 DN for them. I thought he played pretty well. Credit to that entire defensive line. I thought they had a really nice game today.
All right, so Jake, I'm gonna make you the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh boy.
when do they typically watch the films? Is that Monday or Tuesday? When are they
usually on the flight back?
On the flight back,
mean, especially after a loss. I mean, you're getting that. Those video guys work their tails off to get that stuff, imported, extracted, whatever they have to do, and get it on a laptop for each of those coaches. So they'll be watching film on the way back. I bet those guys don't even sleep tonight, especially after this one.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a lot of heat on all of them. I mean, from McDermott through all the players, including Dable too, on the offensive coordinator. But you're the offensive coordinator, Jake. And who do we have next week? Who's on the schedule there?
We got the Jets.
All
And
right.
like I said, so it's a Robert Saleh coach team, and I don't think their defense has really played as well. I am worried though, because their defensive line is not. Quinnen Williams has played fantastic football this year, and his brother Quincy Williams, the linebacker, he's played awesome too. So I think Marcus May is going to be out with an injury. That's definitely concerning for them. So that's good. I mean, he's a good safety. He's played pretty well for them over the years, and actually, he's always played pretty well against Buffalo. So that'll be huge if he's out. But I don't overlook the Jets. They scored 30 on the Colts. Their offense actually has started to kind of find their way a little bit, regardless of who's playing quarterback. Josh Johnson played pretty well last week. Mike effing White played a phenomenal game, as Ty Johnson, Mike effing White. That's what he said in his presser. The running backs, I mean, they have Ty Johnson. They have, whatchamacallit? Oh my gosh. Kid out of UNC. Why am I losing? Michael Carter. Mike, yeah. I have so many thoughts going on in my head, so many different players. I'm seeing roster pictures of random guys. Elijah Moore, the receivers, come along. He had 2 touchdowns last week. Kid out of Ole Miss. He's pretty good. Jamison Crowder, he always kills the Bills. But you know what? I don't think the defensive side is what we have to worry about. I'm thinking about their defense. So I'm going to get back to that because I keep ranting.
Yeah.
But
so get back to the offense. Yeah. You're the offensive coordinator.
Our offense, right?
What are we going to do to right the ship? What do you go back to here? Obviously, the pass protection is not there. You got to run some different schemes. It's not going to change magically. It's been ongoing now for quite some time. So what are you going to run? What personnel are you going to run? What are some things you're going to change?
Well, I like to spread them out. I like to get 4 receivers on the field at once. We have so many weapons. And if Dawson Knox plays or doesn't play, that's going to be a big difference too, I think, with the different personnels that we run. Because Tommy Sweeney he had 1 catch today, but I don't know how often he was actually on the field.
He had 1 catch and he fumbled it. Thank God it went out of bounds, right?
Yeah.
And
so there was that. But I would like to see us run 4 wide. I want to see us with, Stephon Diggs, Emmanuel Sanders on the outside, Cole Beasley, maybe Gabe Davis or Isaiah McKenzie on the inside there. But I would like to see us spread it out a little bit. We can run a couple crossing patterns with Cole Beasley. I think the underneath stuff works. I mean, we were getting Cole involved early. I think that was a really good game plan. And then he went out of the game. We sort of struggled a little bit. And maybe it wasn't even by design that we were getting Cole the ball so many times underneath like that, because it almost seemed like our outside guys weren't getting open. And I said a big key matchup for this game was the Bills receivers versus the Jags corners.
Yeah.
And hats off to the Jags corners. They played pretty well today. I think they handled us pretty well. They had a tough task ahead of them, and they definitely, played awesome. They really did. So I like Cole getting involved early. I like the underneath stuff. Hopefully he'll be all right to play. I think he's notoriously always played pretty well against the Jets too, which is, our bread and butter there. I think we could definitely take advantage of the underneath stuff. But then we have to start taking shots downfield.
Yeah.
We do. I mean, get Stephon Diggs deep. Get Emmanuel Sanders deep. Take a couple shots. I don't even care if it's an incompletion. Just throw it up.
Absolutely.
At worst, you get a defensive PI penalty. I mean, we have to do that. And if you want to run the football, do it in a goal line situation or something. I mean, and you better be, interior wise, you better be blocking the hell out of those guys. I mean, we got Quinn Williams that we're going to be going up against. So,
even if
it hasn't been working up.
Even if it's intercepted, throw the ball deep versus these two short routes that were picked off today. Puts us in a bad position to begin with. I agree with you.
It's almost the same as a punt, really. You throw a deep pass, it gets picked off deep. Okay, whatever. You at least took a shot. We have one of the best. We have a top 5 receiver in the game.
Yeah,
you gotta get the ball to him.
Yeah, so I hear you and I agree with you, but if you're gonna do that, you're not getting any protection for Josh. So to me, I think you got to go with more of a different personnel. Maybe I'm calling it right here, 20-21 personnel, where I have 2 people in the back blocking.
Sure.
Let's go with
Reggie Gilliam was barely in today.
Yeah,
I didn't see much of him.
Let's get him the protection, because I do believe our receivers are good enough just to have 2 or 3. I don't know if we need to have 4. I love that idea, and it was working well last year. But if Josh isn't going to have time, I don't know how that kind of works. And again, I'm not the X and O guy that you are. I'm just
I actually, Mike, I 100% can agree with that. I definitely see your point there. I think having an extra blocker in never hurts. Whether that be Dawson Knox if he plays, whether that be Tommy Sweeney in the backfield or Reggie Gilliam, we have to have something, because we're not getting it done up front. We aren't.
Yeah.
So I definitely see your point there. I think with the 4 wide receiver set, like I said, you can get some underneath stuff, and then maybe you could take a shot. And that's if Josh has time. Maybe you run a stop and go or something with Stephon Diggs, or, whatever it may be. But I like both options there. I do.
Yeah. Well, even with the 2 blocking, right? If they can have some plays where those guys, they're back there, but they go out for a short little pass, similar thing. You got your tight end or your running back. Z-Bell says, if Josh is in shotgun and we have 4 wide and we get him to roll out early, we'll have time to go deep. So
it's always bad when you have to almost have a design rollout, because you know that you're going to get pressure automatically. Almost, it seems like. I do think Josh is comfortable rolling out, though. If we have designed rollouts, it's totally different than him feeling the pressure and needing to roll out because he's panicking. So I definitely see an advantage there for sure.
Well, I'm trying to bring this back to where we can feel a little bit better.
I know.
All I can say is there's been some teams that have gotten that looked like they were going to be, no one's going to beat them. For instance, Baltimore, right? Baltimore was just killing it. Cincinnati comes in and destroys them, and now Cincinnati's lost back-to-back games. Teams are losing. I think any given Sunday is more true than it's ever been. Obviously, you can't overlook anybody. It just seems. I still feel we're 5-3. 5-3.
Right.
It's going to be a hard-fought season now. I mean, can't look past anybody. It's not like we're out of it. So there's a positive spin. It's not like we're out of it. I still like our chances, but they're gonna have to make some adjustments, and hopefully I know we have the talent to make adjustments.
100%.
And I feel confident with the coaching staff that they can make adjustments. So 5-3, Yeah, we may, at this pace, I'm not even going to talk playoffs. I just want to win the next game. Let's get to
One
six and
game at a
three,
time.
right?
Yeah.
Let's get 6-3. Let's see. Antonio says, thankful for therapists, aka Mike and Jake. Antonio, you missed it earlier. While Jake was talking, I was looking for an actual therapist and see if we can get him on the show. I had an overlay.
That would be good.
I had an overlay set up that we can have him join the show.
Yeah.
And talk about these things. But yeah, again 5-3. We're still in the thick of things.
We're still in there. We're still
there.
First in the AFC East.
Exactly. We
might be the number 4 seed, but it's okay.
It's okay. And the Chiefs.
And actually, yeah, we are.
The Chiefs are in the same boat. The Chiefs are in the same boat, right? They're struggling a little bit. But did I ever think they weren't going to make the playoffs? No. And I think we're the same way. I think we'll get it together.
I think everyone feels deep down like we know that this is a good team. We know it's a playoff team, and I think we're so disappointed because you don't expect a 9-6 loss to the Jags. Where did that come from?
No, not unless there's a lot of snow on the ground and you can't see the ball. I mean, even
this is like the Browns and Bills game from like 2007, where it was like 9-6, and man, it's so weird. I don't like it. I don't like it at all, Mike. And Antonio, I take these losses pretty hard myself. I'll be honest with you. So this is good that I'm talking it out because I would be miserable if I didn't have some sort of outlet like this. So Mike, I appreciate you for letting me come on here and talk about this stuff because it's a struggle. I mean, when we lose games, I take it hard. I mean, it honestly sets the tone for my week. And I know you shouldn't let something affect you as much as this does, but I'm a diehard. This is my life. I mean, it is what it is. Like people might judge it and whatnot, but I mean, the Bills are everything to the city. I think a lot of people feel the same way about it. I think a lot of people are really upset and disappointed about this. They need to vent about it. So this is a very good therapy session for sure.
Yeah. Well, Jake, let me tell you. So it hits me hard, but take it from a guy who's been through those 4 Super Bowl
exactly.
losses.
I don't know how you did it.
I was that guy. I was you, Jake. When we were losing games, talk. I mean, I had to be left alone for a while.
Yeah.
But after the 3rd loss, after the 4th loss, it just hit me. A light went on. It's a football game. There is tomorrow.
I know.
And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it doesn't hurt. It hurts big time. But I do believe in this team. I believe we'll get back to our winning ways. And we just no more of this elite talk. Let's talk about winning a game one at a time. And
we're talented. We're not elite.
We're talented. Correct. And we made it to the AFC Championship game with this team. Right. So I don't know what's happened with them. They'll get it together. Hopefully they're in that room embarrassed, just like we are. I mean, my phone, again, I'm afraid to look at it with all the text, but they'll get it together. I have to believe that. And I do believe that. I believe that's the case. So Jake, it's okay. We're not going to go undefeated. We knew we were going to undefeated. We knew we were,
right. We knew that after week 1,
Exactly.
I mean, I guess you get it out of the way early and then you have a couple bumps in the road on the way. I think back to Tampa last year, they were 7-4 or 7-5.
Yes,
they were 7-5.
Yeah.
And then they won 4 straight games and actually they kept winning throughout the playoffs right into the Super Bowl. So
they got hot at the right time. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to. I think that'll happen. I mean, we know it's not like we lost a lot of talent. We gained talent on the offseason. We'll get there. We'll get there for sure. Let's see. Z-Bell kind of said, it's either pressure before he can plant on a conventional dropback or pressure where he's already moving.
Yeah, it's one or the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
But I agree with you, Z-Bell. I mean, throw the ball deep. Throw the ball deep. A couple times a game with to Diggs, to Sanders, Gabe Davis. Throw the ball deep. And they don't seem to be using Davis enough. Now, he did have that one, I don't know if I put it on him, but I felt he had a drop pass. And then Beasley had a drop pass early in the game.
Yeah, that was a big drop.
Yeah.
That was on 3rd, or no, was it a 3rd down? No, it was 2nd down and it became 3rd after that. Was 3rd and long.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
So we'll get to, I don't know what's going on with Gabe. They don't seem to be using him enough this year. I'd like to see him.
He hasn't been in that much. Yeah.
Right. But all right. Any other thoughts, Jake? I mean, I think we're fine. I hope everyone in the channel believes that. I know you're all big Bills fans, just like Jake and
Yeah.
I are. Believe in our team. Don't worry, Slinky. You are not going to have to sell that jersey.
You're not selling that jersey.
Do not sell
Don't
the jersey. And if you want to get rid of it, Jake or I will take it off your hands. So please donate it to one of us. Obviously, I'm the guy always wearing the Nike shirts, and I need the outfits. I do have a Jim Kelly jersey, and I mean I got to get that back on. But I'll take that Josh Allen jersey anytime.
Mike, when was the last time you wore that Jim Kelly jersey on a show?
3-4 weeks ago. It's been a while.
Was it before? Did you wear it for the Titans game or no?
No.
Oh man,
maybe I got to start wearing it.
That may have started something.
Maybe that started.
I don't know. I think me embellishing and saying the Bills are going to absolutely destroy every team we play, that has something to do with it. Maybe, and I'm getting superstitious now, but guess what? I got to find some way to cope with this. So maybe it's time. Maybe next week we put the Jim Kelly jersey back on. I'm keeping the Micah Hyde going because he's been playing well since I started wearing this. So you can't go away from it. Or maybe I don't wear a jersey and you do. I don't know. I mean, we got to think of something.
We'll switch it up. We'll switch it up for sure.
Yeah.
And Antonio, we'll get to your point real quick. I want to bring up something funny. So this morning, my son was trying to get me to let him watch the Ravens game, but anyhow, he puts our show on in the living room, and my wife's up.
Nice.
My wife doesn't watch a lot of our shows. She's kind of like your wife, not really into football, but she's downstairs making breakfast, and the show's up on TV. Immediately after our show, and she even said hi to you, she comes in here and she said, "I've got to change your backdrop." She goes, "Jake's backdrop looks amazing. Yours
not at all. This is all thrown together."
She says, "Yours is embarrassing. I got to do something for you." I said, "Please do whatever you want to do. Let's get this thing redone in the back so we can have all the looking as nice as Jake's." So she was like,
"Wow."
Yeah. She goes, "Let me take care
honored.
of it."
Now I have a big head.
Oh man. So
that's amazing.
Anyhow, it was pretty funny because I think that might have been the first show she's ever seen of ours. And it just happened to be that she was making breakfast, and Jonah had it on there because he wanted to know when we were done. But anyhow, so Antonio, I love Josh Allen, and I don't know if you already touched on this, but I'm tired of his fumbles.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. That fourth down call, I mean, it was just horrible. I mean, if he hands the ball off, that play's going for a good game, but he keeps it, and then but the line did nothing to help that situation.
Yeah.
There was a blitzer already coming at him. And yes, I agree. He needs to tuck that ball away. And what do you guys think was the biggest problem today? He said, I say Josh Allen, and by that I mean number 41, Josh Allen. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Like Jake's already said, he's probably going to be the AFC Defensive Player of the week. And I agree with it. How can you not? He had 8 tackles, 1 interception, one sack. Single-handedly just did a job on us. So totally agree with you, Antonio. He was the reason, or one of the big reasons for this. But it seems to be a repeating theme, which I'm getting tired of. I mean, yes, if you know they have an elite player on defense, don't you scheme
don't you double team?
Don't you block that guy? Don't you come up with something, right? TJ Watt, same thing. He's the best there is. We didn't do a good job against him. Landry, Tennessee, we know he's elite. We didn't do a good job against him. What are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we not coming up with some scheme to take these guys out of the mix?
I mean, even at the half, I mean, do you make an adjustment then? What do you do? Because there's got to be something better. Because the one-on-one matchup, obviously, we're getting destroyed. Yeah. And it's paying dividends. I mean, the Jags are capitalizing off of all of those. I mean, there's turnovers, and Antonio mentioned Josh Allen having a hard time holding the football, and I think that just goes back to him trying to make a play. I think Josh, a lot of times, as amazing as he is, a lot of times when he tries to make something happen, he almost gets too excited, too fired up, whatever it may be, and he gets a little erratic. He fumbles the football, he turns the ball over, whether it's an interception or a fumble, one of the two. It's an issue. It definitely is an issue. But it's almost like Brett Favre. You take the bad with the good.
Yeah.
And there's usually more good than bad, which is all right. I'll take it, Yeah. But it does cost us games. And I think it definitely was a big part in today's game. I mean, you turn the ball over 3 times, it's never a good thing. So
I mean, you're absolutely right. You compare him to Favre, and that's a great comparison because He's young. He wants to, obviously he's seeing his team struggling, so he wants to make the play for the team. And there are just some cases where you just need to take a loss and or throw the ball away, like
Right.
like Brady.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just
And I think there was you still see that growth where he throws it, throw it in the dirt and stuff. But he still has a lot of moments, and it's glaring because it's usually during key moments in
yeah.
the game where he tries to make something out of nothing, and you can't just have Josh Allen do everything for your team. You got to have some type of help, and like my buddy Ian says, O line, huge part right there. If he doesn't feel as much pressure as he does, if the offensive line blocks better, maybe he doesn't fumble half the amount of times he does. I mean, maybe you're still going to have turnovers no
Yeah.
matter what. I mean, it's going to happen. And I think, he's only thrown coming into this game. He only had 3 interceptions, I think. So now he's got 5 on the year.
Yeah.
So that's really not bad. The fumbling is an issue, definitely, for sure. I always get a little nervous when he runs the football, but really he is our only source of rushing yards this year too. So I don't know. It's hard. It's a double-edged sword. He's making a play. He can turn something into nothing, but yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to worry about him coughing it up from time to time.
Yeah, I mean, just a few weeks ago in the KC game, he's hurtling over a guy, and
Yeah,
you see that all over social media, all over the place, and everyone's talking about that. And then yes, you have these negative things. Big Al, no deer, no win. And I wanted to thank you, Al, for the nice comment you made to my dad about our show. So thank you, Big Al, for that. No deer, no win. Yeah, just a horrible day for your dad, right? Just a rough day.
it's tough.
So is he? Have they gotten any deer yet? How many?
So I've been going out on Saturdays, and yesterday actually we had 4 deer that I saw myself, and then my dad had 2. Problem is he keeps passing up on them because he wants either me or my brother to get them because he's gotten plenty of deer in the past.
Okay.
And also, I will say this: we eat the meat. We love. We're very ethical hunters and all that
Yeah.
stuff. I don't want PETA coming after me right now. So, no, we're very good with that. And, we use the meat. We always make jerky. We do, we grill it. We do all that stuff. So
Yeah.
pepper sticks, all that good stuff. But, yeah, no, he hasn't gotten one this year, and it's just because he's passed up on him. He's had plenty of shots on his end. So
Big Al, come on, take the shot. Take the shot.
I told him, I said, we got one more week of this. So take the shot next time.
Take the shot.
Yeah.
So if he's letting you take the shot, does that mean you're missing?
No. The problem is, Mike, he sees them going in my general direction, but there's something going on that causes those deer to go out into the field rather than towards my stand. So it's very frustrating. I'm kind of sitting there waiting for it. I'm licking my chops. I'm ready to go. And there's always an adrenaline rush, no matter what. And I've shot a deer with a gun. I've never shot one with a bow. So
Is that what you're trying now?
yeah, so it's bow hunting season right now. So yeah, I haven't gotten one just yet. I have missed in the past, and it is very frustrating. So it's kind of lingering over my head. I want to get that over with and just actually get one. But you got to have everything set up perfectly for you.
Yeah, well, that sounds like our Bills, right? With the adrenaline's up, we're expecting them to get in the end zone. It's not happening. Something's going on, but we'll get back to our winning ways. I truly believe that.
I agree,
and I know you believe that as well.
I do.
Yes, this is going to hurt. What I was telling Jake too. At least you're in Buffalo, and so when you go to work tomorrow, you're going to be suffering with all the Bills fans, right? You can help each other out. Tomorrow and even tonight, I'm just going to be like getting hit, and there's no one I can talk to other than you or my 9-year-old. My 9-year-old felt really bad for me after the game. Dad, are you okay? He always asks me.
That's awesome.
He looks at me. He's like, Dad, you're really sad, aren't you? Yes, I'm really sad, but I have no one out here. They're all just going to be beating me up. What's up with your Bills? I thought they were, I'm going to get all that stuff. But so at least you have family, you have friends, all those great co-workers that you work with. You guys will be fine. You'll get through it. And then come tomorrow, come Tuesday, we're ready to talk Jets. You
got to have amnesia.
Are we playing the Jets next week? Yeah, right?
We're playing the Jets.
Yeah, so
and that's in the Meadowlands. So our guy, Matt, if you guys missed the pregame show, we did give the helmet away. So our guy Matt and Tim.
So
Tim won the helmet. He gave it to his brother Matt. again, thank you to those guys. It was awesome to meet both of them. But so Matt is actually going to the game in the Meadowlands, and he said he's going to be wearing his Bills gear, so he'll probably get some comments his way. But I hope they get a win for his sake.
As long as he doesn't take the Josh Allen helmet. Don't take the helmet.
Yeah,
Don't
I
take
know.
the helmet.
Oh, that'd be tough.
He was funny. He's like, I'll take pictures for you, Mike. I'll be wearing that thing. And I'm like, I wouldn't. I mean, protect that autograph. Put it on your mantle. Put it.
It is an authentic helmet, so it's like the real deal, you know.
It is, but they don't put the actual. So the shell is authentic. I look. The padding is not. The padding is not. But you could still wear it. I just don't do it, Matt. Don't do it.
Exactly.
But yeah, for like that was a good point, Jake. We had 2 servicemen, one former Navy, one in the Navy about to get out. We thank them for their service. They won the helmet. Brotherly love.
That's pretty cool.
Matt did all the hard work and shared the link with Tim and Antonio. I appreciate you. You were one of the top folks, if not the top person in the number of entries. If there was anyone, I was pulling for you for sure to get this win. But super excited to see 2 service guys, and we thank them for their service, and happy that they were able to win it. Now, I hope they are able to get it tomorrow. It looks like FedEx has got their act together. It has left the facility. Hopefully, they get that tomorrow. But appreciate all you guys who participated in that giveaway. It was great, and we're gonna have more. And so please like, subscribe, give us some comments. And again, Jake and I, we love comments. We love that you guys are interacting with us. And if there's something that you want to see us do a little different, you want to see us add a different segment to the show, let us know. We're new to this.
Open to anything.
We're open to a lot of ideas. I know a lot of you folks go to some of the other Buffalo shows as well. There's a lot of great Buffalo shows that are out there, and Jake and I listen to it. We try to see if we can bring something to this show, learn something from them, and we just want to make it better for you guys. So it's all about helping you out through the tough times. I said this in one of my I think it was the channel trailer. How cool is it that we can have post games and pre games, help each other out through the good times. Celebrate the good times and help each other out through the bad times. And that's exactly what we're doing right here. This is a bad time, but we're good. We're good. It's a football game. We're going to get back to it.
I'm already feeling a little bit better.
Yeah,
Mike,
exactly.
I will say. It's
you
helping,
should.
For sure.
You should. Hopefully everyone else is feeling better. And let's see. Alan says, Big Al, we are going to Mister's tomorrow. Right. We are John our sorrows. Is tomorrow? Yeah.
Tomorrow is the show.
That's when Isaiah will be there.
Yep. So he called me after the game and he said, "Hey, do you want to go to Mister's tomorrow? I got me and my buddies. We're going to go to Mister's. We're going to reserve a spot for 6:00." And I said, "Yeah, I just got to run it by the wife and make sure we got a babysitter for the baby." So I think my mom's going to come over because we got different babysitters. So her mom's watching the baby tomorrow. I got to pick her up after work, bring her home, then I'm going right over there. So I'm ready to go.
That's an ongoing show.
I think it's every Monday. Yeah,
I'm
pretty sure that's the deal with that. Yeah.
So for any of you folks on the channel that are in the Buffalo area, East Aurora, Mister's, Monday night, what time is that? About 8:00, I think your show starts?
6:00, 6 p.m.
6 o'clock. Isaiah McKenzie does a show at Mister's. And what was cool when we were there, it wasn't crowded. It was almost like nobody knew about it. I don't know. I mean, when you said he was there, I was expecting to walk in and that thing just be standing room only. But we had some. I'm sure it won't be like that every week. But yeah, it'll be interesting. So I'll be interested to hear what he has to say tomorrow. Now,
absolutely.
That means he'd be flying back today, so it's gonna be a long travel time for him. Or
I know, poor guy. Day for him. Can't catch a break. So
Chap said, "This is that Duval."
Oh, here we go. Chaps, wait a minute. Is that there's a guy who works with Barstool named Chaps, and I know he's a big Jags fan. But that's it. That's awesome. Yeah, Duval. I give you guys all the credit in the world. I mean, we came in there, we felt pretty confident about potentially getting a big win, and tell you what, the Jags showed up. They played hard. You guys played a hell of a football game. The other Josh Allen was the better Josh Allen, and man, if he doesn't get any recognition now, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that guy he's a really good football player. Really is.
Yeah. Your dad says that would be great if the guys who won the helmet show up tomorrow. They are in not able to do that. One of them lives in
Yeah, yeah.
Colorado.
They're the one guy's in Long Island, the other's
Yeah,
in Colorado. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I think it's Oceanside, New York. The one's in
Oceanside. Okay,
the
yeah.
other one's in Colorado. So they would love to if they were there. Absolutely.
No, I'm sure. Yeah, the
Those
one guy
guys
has
are.
Tim has a tattoo on his leg of the Bills, so that's
That was
pretty awesome.
that was amazing.
Yeah.
So
I
anyhow,
love it. It's not often we get other fans in the
yeah,
chat.
yeah,
So this is great. Chaps, I appreciate you, man. This is freaking awesome. I
yeah.
mean,
I mean, yes,
like I
we.
said, hats off to you. I'm not going to say anything bad about the Jags. I mean, other than we overlooked you guys a little bit, I think. And everyone thinks it's an easy win, but it's any given Sunday, like Mike said. The AFC is so up in the air. It's all over the place, and that's a huge win. That's a huge win. Crazy to think that 3 years ago, the Jags were 4 years ago, sorry. It was when the Bills first made the playoffs again, they lost to the Jags, of course. They lost to the Jags twice. I mean, 2 huge losses in the last 4 seasons. They were an AFC championship team, and they should have beat New England that year, and I was really pulling for them. The boat, Blake Bortles,
Yep, yep, yep.
man,
And they had a great defense. And I remember,
they did.
I forget
Jacksonville.
there was a Bills player on defensive line that had gone to that team. I forget who that was. Do you remember who that was?
That was Marcel Darius.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, Marcel
Yeah,
Darius.
who was a stud for us for a while.
Paul Posluszny too. I don't know. He wasn't on that team, but
Yeah, I don't think
another
so.
Bill that went to Jacksonville, and he was good. I believe he hosted a tailgate down in Jacksonville
Yeah.
specifically, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so there's no chaps. We've said it earlier in the show. There's no overlooking anybody. And Jake's right. We might have overlooked a little bit, a 1-16, but any given Sunday, and hopefully, I mean, that propels them. I mean, that gives them the confidence. They just beat one of the AFC teams, just like Tennessee, AFC Championship team. So who knows where
Yeah.
they go from here? I mean, that's just going to give them a huge boost in confidence, and who knows what happens the rest of the season. And the way the AFC is going, I don't know. A 9
Never know.
what do we play? 17 games this year.
Yeah.
9-8.
11-6, you went out. Hey.
Yeah, yeah. A 9-8 probably get you into the playoffs this year. The way things are going, so you never know. You never know. So thanks.
Hopefully James Robinson gets healthy too. Although Carlos Hyde had 21 for 67 today. He did have the fumble, but
he
can get the job done.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. All right, Jake. I think that does it. I think we're gonna call it. Everybody, I hope you're all feeling better. We'll be back at it next Sunday for our pregame, and of course we'll do the postgame. If you like golf content at all, we do a great DraftKings and betting show for golf on Tuesday nights. And then we've had a lot of fun lately and a lot of folks coming to the channel on Wednesday, where we have Rick and Chris do the fantasy football show. And believe it or not, Jake is filling in this week. So Jake's going to fill in with Chris because Rick is unavailable. We're actually going to go 3 wide that show. I'm going to be on, just kind of keeping these guys going.
Yes.
Trying to keep them from going too much out into left field. But these 2 guys are going to bring you a lot of great content. It's a fantasy football show. And Chris and Rick have just been killing it. A lot of people come in there. And if you're in a fantasy football league and you have any questions, like, should I make this trade? Who should I pick up? You're going to want to be on that show. Wednesday night goes off at 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern. And again, Jake will be on there as well. So it should be a lot of fun, Jake.
And I will say this. So Chris, who's on the show, is fantastic. He's answered a lot of my questions because I always have in my one league, my flex spot. We have 2 flex spots, and it's always so hard to pick who to start because I have a lot of actually pretty good players on my roster, and they're always like those bubble players who might go off, might not go off. So he told me to start Cole Beasley and Hunter Renfrow this week in the flex. So, and that was over like Jarvis Landry and a couple of others. I had James Robinson in the mix there too. He's like, no, he's probably not going to play anyways. It's game time decision. He didn't play. So I say that he's always stirred me in the right direction, which is great. So highly recommend joining on Wednesday. He's fantastic with that.
For sure. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to, the first time we're going 3 wide on that show. And I filled in for Rick a couple of weeks ago, and Chris kind of carried me along most of it. I just did what I do with you, Jake. I throw it over the fence to you a lot because of all your information. So
the problem is, Mike, here's where I get bad with fantasy football.
Yeah.
I'm too emotional. I'm too emotionally invested. So I need a guy who's specifically like facts and statistics and stuff like that to kind of keep me in line. So that's why I think Chris is really good at that.
Yeah, Chris.
Like, he
Chris
knows
is,
his stuff. He's
yeah.
like, hey, this is a stupid move. You're playing with your heart too much here. Like, don't do that. Why the heck would you start that guy? You know, so that is a really good thing for sure.
Yeah, totally agree. So again, thank you everybody for joining us today. We have a lot of participation. We love it. And join us again next Sunday for the same thing. We'll do it again. Hopefully, we have a much better outcome. Jake, thank you. Big Al, Ellen, and all the rest of the folks, thank you as always coming out to the channel. Zbel, it was good to see you as well. And even my dad popped out there. So thanks, Dad, for
we had
showing
a lot
up.
of folks. That's great.
So we will see you guys soon. Check us out Wednesday. Don't miss Jake. This is gonna be fun. We'll see you. We'll see you guys.
All right.
Bye now.
Hey, go Bills.
Yeah.